Hi everyone, welcome to church. My name is Orson. Since it's Father's Day today, us kids have decided to do a takeover. Anyway, we have a great service lined up for you today. But first, here are some notices.
Thanks, Orson. Now, all your dads tuning in, did you get your special Father's Day rub? If you didn't, it's not too late. Email Ryan today and he will sort you out. If you sponsor a child through Compassion, you should write them a letter. Kids love letters. And if you've been thinking of sponsoring, now is a great time to start. Email Mac or check out the link in the description below.
Not only is it Father's Day today, but it is also what we call Mission Sunday. This is the first Sunday of the month where we look at what is happening with some of our global partners around the world. Have you ever wondered what it's like being a dad in a different culture? Today we have Phil, who lives in Sri Lanka. He's telling us all about it.
Good morning, Goodlife family, and especially good morning to all of you wonderful dads in Australia. Happy Father's Day. Yee-hoo! Or should I say, har har. For those who don't know me, my name is Phil Sheets. My wife is Brandy, and I'm the proud daddy of 2 kids, Noah and Zoe. And our third one is on its way. Yes. We've been part of Goodlife's global impact team, and we're super thankful to be part of Goodlife's extended family, even though we don't live in Australia and we serve Jesus and His people here in Asia. What a privilege for me today to contribute to the online church service. As we celebrate Father's Day, I would like us to first think about the most amazing dad in this whole universe, and that's our Heavenly Father. Thanks to Him, we're even able to celebrate such a day because He is the designer of families. Yes, He is the one that adopted us into His family and made us sons and daughters of the Most High King. Thanks to Him, we can even call Him Abba, Daddy, and that's who you are. Daddy, today we first celebrate you, who you are, and what you have done for us. Today I would like to give you an idea of what it means to be a father in Sri Lanka. I'm very well aware that what I will talk about is mainly a stereotype view. Not every person is like that, and there are always exceptions. In Sri Lanka, a father is clearly the head of his household. Society here is still very patriarchal. The fathers are responsible to discipline the children, but not to nurture them. For the father, the main pressure is to provide for the family. He is the provider. And sometimes it's not just the close family, but it's actually the whole extended family. It is very common that one father has to provide for a set of families. For this reason, a father in Sri Lanka spends his majority of time at work, from very early in the morning to very late in the evening, or sometimes even abroad. We have many friends where their dads live mainly in the Middle East and send the money over to their family. You can imagine that for those children, the father is a very distant figure. Sri Lankan father is responsible to maintain the cultural and religious traditions. If he doesn't do so, he might be held against him. Example, if he's a fisherman and he doesn't bring back fish, then maybe the wife will say, well, why didn't you go and sacrifice at the temple? A joy for a Sri Lankan father is attached and related to the success of his kids, mainly in education or in sports or even the careers of their kids. If I put all this together, what I see in Sri Lanka is that the relationship between a father and his children is very superficial. Thankfully, we've been able to observe in Christian homes that it's slightly different there. Christian fathers are more engaged with their children, and they don't put as much pressure on the kids to succeed in worldly things. As you see, there's lots of needs in Sri Lanka. What is really amazing also is that the witness of one loving father who displays the love of Christ, can speak more than 1,000 words and can impact the whole society. So please, pray for the fathers in Sri Lanka. Pray for more witnesses, or you come and join and be that witness. Thank you so much. And again, happy Father's Day. Har har.
Yeah, because they really roll it. Hey everyone, I'm Indy and I just wanted to say a big happy Father's Day to all the dads, granddads, great-granddads, uncles and every other kind of dad figure out there. We think you're awesome. And if you're keen to hear a few terrible dad jokes, head over to the kids service on YouTube. It's up every Sunday from 9:30 a.m. And now we're going to hear from a few different fathers to hear their journey through fatherhood.
My name is Derek Ellens, and this is Elliot, and I've been a dad for 11 months. I think the greatest joy in fatherhood is seeing him smile and laugh, and just seeing him experience new things. It's pretty awesome. I think the greatest challenge would be wiping his butt while 4 limbs are trying to get in there. That is the greatest challenge. But also, seeing him grow up so fast, I think that's pretty tough. Like, you know it's gonna end soon. So it's kind of bittersweet there. My greatest hope is his safety and health. I think that's what I pray for, and that's probably my greatest hope right now is that he's safe and healthy.
My name's Andrew Strong and I've been a dad since July 2008, so 12 years. The greatest joy for me about being a dad is, it's a little thing, but things that you can be proud of your kids, and it's usually something that you didn't know that they could do. So whether it's doing something musical, playing guitar, or getting out on the sports field and doing a massive kick, playing soccer or whatever sport it is, or even something simple like in summertime I get the kids to jump off my hands and encourage them to do a flip or a backflip, and when they do that you're kind of like, oh, didn't know that was possible, and kind of like this little proud moment, and kind of like brings you a sense of joy about being a father. The greatest challenges of being a father is probably when the kids don't listen to their mother. Or another one is perhaps when they don't do something that you think that they can do and they just give up. So it's just like, oh no, I can't do that, and then they don't try. So that's a challenge as well to work through. So it's you've got to keep encouraging them to say, no, you can do it, like try it, rather than just do everything for them. My greatest hope for my kids is each night we would go in, and as they go to bed I normally say a prayer for them, and one of the things that I say in that prayer is we thank God for always loving us, and then we pray and we pray that you help us to always love him and serve him all the days of our life. And so my greatest hope would be that that would come to fruition, that they would love and serve Jesus all the days of their life, whatever that looks like.
Teach me at school. I did it! Victory! I did it!
So the greatest challenge of being a dad is probably knowing that you've said enough and done enough. And it's just good to know that the girls are in relationships where their husbands are leaders, and the boys are fantastic. So the greatest challenge is just hands on. And then, because our first, I don't want to make it sad, but because our first girl died, to have 2 girls that are now grown up and married settled and have an amazing, future, that is the biggest joy, But to see them have their own family, to be part of that, and to be able to, well, for Susie and myself, especially her, but to be able to play with the grandchild, and to have a grandchild is just an amazing thing. So she's special. She loves motorbikes like I do. She loves bicycles like I do. And I'd love to show you a photo of her on the bike and then one on her own bike at 1 year old.
I'm Jeff Bentley, and I've been a father for 40 years and a grandfather for 11 years. I found great joy in creating things for my children and my grandchildren. I love doing that, and then seeing the delight on their faces as I show them things that I've created specifically for them. But I actually have found my greatest joy is in nothing I do, but rather in watching them love each other. I love seeing the family together, caring for each other. That brings me the greatest joy. I used to think that one of the greatest challenges of being a dad was the tension between discipline and relationship. But I have found now that it's actually all about relationship. And discipline soon finds its own place when I put relationship first. And some of the things that I used to think were so important to get right, I find they really don't matter that much if it gets in the way of relationship. My greatest hope for my children and my grandchildren is that they find life to the full as I have found through Jesus Christ. I don't want them to have a relationship that is an inherited one or one that is through my relationship with God, but they find their own in their own walk. I desire this more than any success they could have in their careers or in their lives or anything that they do, but rather that they find life to the full as I have found it. I pray that for my children, my grandchildren, their children, and the children that follow. I have got this Abraham covenant thing.
You have searched me, Lord, you know all my ways. And before I breathed a breath of life, you'd numbered all my days. Oh, I'll bring you praise, for you have made my life by your design. And from your love I won't get away. If I'm high upon a mountain, deep within a valley, you're there. And if I could reach the heavens or the far side of the sea, you'd be there. Or you'd be waiting for me. You've been waiting for me. All my thoughts, all my words, you hear before I speak. You know me inside out, when I wake, when I sleep. So where could I go that you wouldn't know? 'Cause even night is a light to you, and from your love I won't get away. If I'm high up on a mountain, deep within a valley, you're there. And if I could reach the heavens or the far side of the sea, you'd be there. If I'm high up on a mountain, deep within a valley, you're there. And if I could reach the heavens or the far side of the sea, you'd be there. Oh, you'd be waiting for me. Oh, you'd be waiting for me. Love has found me. Love has set me free. Love has found me. Love has set me free. Love has found me. Love has set me free. Love has found me. Love has set me free. Don't ever let me go. Love has found me. Love has set me free. You'll never let me go. Love has found me. Love has set me free. Don't ever let me go. Love has found me. Love has set me free. You'll never let me go. Love has found me. Love has set me free. Don't ever let me go. You'll never let me go. Don't ever let me go.
So Shed Night is a life group. There's probably like roughly 10 of us young fellas, and we just worship Jesus, get into the Word, and it's just a place where we can just hang out and have a good time. Shed Night came about through back in 2018. In summer, we went for camp in Fraser with Stewie and a few of us young boys, and the camp was a place where we would go to just spend alone time with God. After a whole year of busyness, we could just go and have alone time with Him. And through that camp, we had a lot of fun times, you know, I actually never really hung out with those boys before. But then through the camp, we started to know each other a bit more, and, you know, just a bit of banter with the boys and having a fun time. And then when the camp was over, during camp, we were kind of talking about, this kind of sucks. We're all going to be leaving one another and we're not going to be hanging out together. And I kind of just, around the fire, just blurted it out. I've got a shed and we can hang out together and keep, hanging out, getting into the Word. And it's kind of like a bit of a joke, really. And then when the camp finished, got back home, saw the shed, and I was like, wait, let's actually do this. So I hit up my brother Elijah. It was really dirty, the shed, really old. It was just a mess. So Elijah and I, we cleaned the whole place up, put a few fairy lights in, a few couches. And then one time I just texted all the boys and I was like, boys, let's do this. Thursday night, let's all catch up and let's just hang out. And
got together, we did the Game Changer series, and we really enjoyed that. But soon after that, we lost a friend, Elijah Dawkins, to suicide. And so we really realised throughout that period of time of all us just grieving together and sort of trying to process what had happened, we realised that we should start doing life together instead of just coming together and trying to like talk about Jesus or like grow in our faith. We just needed to just really do life together and check in on how we were going. Because I feel like that's a really good thing for especially teenage boys to do, because it's a group of boys who are ranging from 16 to 19, 20. So like, I feel like it's a good thing for us to talk about how we feel.
So the first few shed nights was just all catching up together. We'd have a meal, have a little barbecue, have some chips. With the skateboard, you would just skate around the shed, you know, just playing music, having a fun time. And then through that, just hanging out, I think it just led to us wanting to spend time with God. And what's so cool is a lot of these boys, Josiah, Aiden, Lucas, all these boys, they're really creative and they love their music, they love photography. All these boys are super creative, so they all would, you know, have their little instruments. So I'd be on guitar and then we just started worshipping, and yeah, since then it's always been come together, worship Jesus, get into the Word, and follow up with what Goodlife's doing, you know.
So every Thursday night we'll have, at 5:30 we'll get together and we'll have like a dinner. So whoever's hosting that night will make some like sausages or like cook up some meat. 5:30 we'll have dinner, we'll hang out, and then we'll go straight into a time of worship. So we'll worship for ranging around 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how we feel, how the vibe's going, how it's going. And then from that, depending on whether or not someone has a question about like life or like their faith, we'll talk through that, or sometimes we'll just like read a Bible verse. We were working through Psalms recently, so we'll like read Psalms and speak about what spoke out to us during the verse, or just kind of like what we got away from it.
I ended up leaving Palmwoods, so the shed was no longer. It's kind of, you know, I was a bit sad because the shed was, you know, it was our crib, you know, that's where everything happened. And then shed night got moved to Josiah's place. And since then we have been doing shed night there. And then, are we going to keep calling it shed night? What are we going to do? Because we're not in the shed. And the boys all together ended up saying, no, shed night's not just the place, it's about, you know, who we are as the boys. That's the shed night. With Jesus, that's the shed. So, yeah, we've still been doing shed night at Josiah's place.
More on a personal level for me, I feel like shed night has really helped me sort of work through my feelings about losing a close friend, losing a couple close friends. It's sort of helped me navigate how I feel about it, sort of like how to deal with what I'm feeling, and yeah. And so I feel like that's a really good space for teenage boys, especially because we don't ever want to lose someone to suicide again. And so I feel like it's a really good space for boys to come and talk about how they feel, and we can sort of help them like work through what they're feeling, or not even work through, just be there with them. Because sometimes it's one of the best things is to just be like, hey man, like we care about you, are you okay, like, we love you. And so I feel like for me personally, it's really helped me work through all my feelings of anxiety and depression and all that. So yeah.
And it's so amazing how to see the boys, how they've been growing with Jesus. Like at the very start when we started worship, you know, the boys, it was a bit of a vulnerable space, you know, at the start they were all a bit like, yeah, you know, not really expressing their heart to God, because you're surrounded by other boys, and it can be a bit intimidating. And then as the weeks kept going on, just seeing them, how they were just not afraid to just really show God their love for him without really caring what the boys would think. They would just let it all out, which is pretty amazing. And that's been really awesome. I reckon it's important for young teenage boys to have a space like Shed Night, because it gives them a place of, it's a place for them to be able to share things that they wouldn't really share to other dudes,
I feel like in particular this is an important thing for young teenage boys, especially because it's in today's day and age, it's socially you don't ever hear about a teenage boy spilling out his feelings to one of his mates, because you just don't see that. And so I feel like it's a really good thing for boys, teenage boys especially, to come and just chat about how they're feeling, what they're going through. We can just help them work through that, and yeah.
Are you concerned someone's struggling but not sure what to do? Start by asking, "Are you okay?" It can be hard to open up, so make them feel comfortable. Listen with an open mind. Then help encourage action. You don't need to have all the answers, but you can help them think of ways to manage their situation. Remember, always check in again. Your support makes a difference. Ask, "Are you okay?" A conversation could change a life.
Thanks everyone. Now we're going to be hearing from Ryan, who has cooked up a great message on Galatians for us today. But before, I'd like us to pray. Dear Lord, thank you for all the fathers and grandfathers that we have in the universe to help us. Please help that they have a wonderful time on Father's Day, and that Ryan's message will be great, like I said. Amen.
Hey, happy Father's Day, guys. I'm here out in my backyard with some of my closest friends, getting ready to throw some steaks on the smoker. I got the Father's Day rub that we've handed out this weekend, and I'm gonna put that on the steaks, throw it on the smoker, and then we're gonna get into some Galatians. But if you've got any steaks at home, I think you're far ahead of the game. But we're gonna put some of this on here. Oh yeah, be liberal. The love of Jesus is liberal. If your kids love you, they bought you T-bones. While that's in there, I thought it'd be a good idea to give us just a bit of a recap on what we've learned so far about Galatians. We're finishing up chapter 3 today, but in those first 3 chapters, what we see is Paul defending the gospel, right? He's defending the gospel that Jesus gave to him personally. And this is what we know, that this gospel came straight from Jesus. And then he went and he told the apostles this gospel that Jesus shared with him, and they thought it was good enough, that they didn't need to add anything to it. And as we learned last week, right, the law was given to us to show us that we weren't perfect, and it doesn't produce life, but Jesus produces life. And so we're seeing Paul lay out this groundwork of an argument, because this church in Galatia was very close to Paul's heart, right? Early in his missionary journeys, he founded a series of churches in this Galatia province. And what happened was some religious strong-arming took place after Paul left. That these old ways of thinking people came in and said, yeah, that's good, but you got to go back to the old ways. And so when Paul found out about this, he was really upset. He was upset that these religious kind of stakeholders had come in and said, with these kind of scaring words, that you've got to add these things back in. You've got to put these things back in place if you want to have life, if you want to be in the family. And so Paul is super frustrated with that. And not only is he frustrated with these people who are adding to the gospel, he's frustrated with the Galatians for believing it, that they had taken this newfound freedom that Jesus had produced in them and kind of just thrown it away by adding more stuff back into their life. More burdens, less freedom. And so as we're going to see in the reading coming up from chapter 3, verses 26 through 29, that not only did the law not produce life, it was Jesus, but now because of Jesus, we're in the family of God. And so why don't you lean in and say hello to my sister, Andrea, as she reads scripture for us today from Galatians chapter 3.
Galatians 3:26 through 29. You have all become true children of God by faith in Jesus, the Anointed One. It was faith that immersed you into Jesus, the Anointed One, and now you are covered and clothed with his anointing. And we no longer see each other in our former state, Jew or non-Jew, rich or poor, male or female, because we're all one through our union with Jesus Christ, with no distinction between us. And since you've been united to Jesus, the Messiah, you are now Abraham's child and inherit all the promises of the kingdom realm.
Thanks, Andrea. My sister Andrea just finished a virtual marathon. It was running across the state of Tennessee, which is about 1,021 kilometers. She ran every day for 103 days, average about 10 kilometers a day. That's like running from here at Goodlife all the way to the Sydney Harbor Bridge and then 20 more kilometers. It's a pretty amazing sporting feat, and I'm pretty proud of her. I love sports, right? I come from a family of runners, and when I was in high school, I played all kinds of sports. I'm your typical American kid, right? I love football. I played basketball, but I loved baseball, right? And every spring in America, we would have baseball tryouts, and I've been playing baseball my entire life, and so when I was in high school, I was really excited about playing baseball. And I remember you go to the tryouts, and you've got 3 days of hitting and catching and throwing and practicing running the bases, and all of the coaches kind of, standing on the sidelines, running drills and evaluating your talent, evaluating your effort, seeing if you had what it takes to make the team. And I remember after 3 days of these tryouts being told that you could go to the baseball dugout and you could look on a piece of paper and you could see if your name was there. And I remember, right, the anxiety, the feeling of, am I going to make the team, right? And in high school in America, sports are huge, right? Everybody knows who plays on the team, right? Every game day, you've got the cheerleaders wearing the school uniform outfits. You've got the players from the team wearing their jerseys. Even the team managers are sporting some kind of school identifier that they're on the team. And everyone is excited to play the game. But there still was this delineation between those who were on the field playing and those who were in the stadium cheering. And I remember going to the dugout after the 3 days of tryouts, searching for my name, right? 3 different pieces of paper. And I remember one year finding my name, right? I had made the junior varsity team, right? The relief of finding my name on that piece of paper after worrying, would I measure up? But then I remember the following year, going to tryouts and just 2 days into the tryouts, having the coach come to me and say, Ryan, meet me in my office. And him taking me into his office and setting me down and saying, Ryan, I don't think that you need to come to day 3 of the tryouts. I don't think it's going to do you any good. You're just not good enough. And I remember, how I felt about not making the team, right? Not measuring up. And I think that for us, we've probably had some situation where we've felt that rejection before, of not measuring up, of not making the grade, of not being talented enough or whatever to make the team. And I think the Galatians probably felt some of this, right? Like there was this excitement and relief of hearing the gospel that I can be in the family of God, that I can be a part of this team. But then these other, religious old guard coming in and saying, no, you've got to add more to it. There's more you need to do. And I don't know if you're anything like me, but I can imagine falling prey to that trap, wanting to make sure that I was on the team, wanting to make sure that I had done everything I could for when the bell finally rang, am I going to be on the team or not? And this is why Paul was so frustrated. I love how the verse that Andrea read is just so good. It says, we no longer see each other in our former state, Jew or non-Jew, rich or poor, male or female, because we're all one through the union with Jesus Christ, with no distinction between us. Paul makes this very clear, right? Because of Jesus, you're on the team. Because of faith, now we have been invited into this family of God. That now, positionally, we find ourselves on the inside, not the outside. It's through faith in Jesus. It's fidelity to his faithfulness. It's the assurance of what he's done for us, not our talent. It's not like sports, which is a meritocracy. You get in on your effort. You get in on your talent. You get in on your achievement. No, we get in because Jesus was good enough, that he fulfilled these things for us. And because we're in this family of grace, this community of grace, we can now live out of who God says we are. There's no more distinction between us. These things, these barriers that the old religious guard wanted to bring in for this church in Galatia, these old ways of living and thinking, right, have been abolished. There's no more distinction. There's no Jew, there's no non-Jew. There's no male, there's no female. There's no Greek, there's no Jew, there's no slave, there's no free, right? No longer do we view anybody through those old distinctions. We're in the family. And because of that, we can live out of who God says we are. I want to take just a few moments to reflect on the truth of this scripture. And we're going to go into a song called Overcome, because it's Jesus that has overcome this for us, right? He's the one that brings us in. It's because of who he is and what he's done. And I love how the song is written. It says, grace has been given to us. Death has now become life. And this life that Jesus has given us now can be lived through us, and we can be in this community of grace. That grace, Tim talked about it a few weeks ago, it's the anchor that holds us in this family. It's the thing that protects us as we move forward. And I hope that you'll take time to just listen to this song and to even engage with this song. And I'll be back after the song's over, and I've got a reminder and an opportunity for you as we learn really to live in the truth of this verse of having no distinctions between us. So let's go ahead and get into this song right now.
From the heavens, Lord, you came to forgive and not to shame. You came to love, not to condemn, but to overcome. And I am overwhelmed. embraced at the cross. Perfect in the life that you gave, took my sin to the grave. The death we know has now become life, as the darkness gives way for the light. There's no greater love laid down, so our hope could be found. From the heavens, Lord, you came to forgive and not to shame. You came to love, not to condemn, but to overcome. And I am overwhelmed, you have overcome. And I am overwhelmed. The grace you have given to us, and in your mercy I'm embraced at the cross. And perfect in the life that you gave, took my sin to the grave. And the death we know has now become life, as the darkness gives way for the light. There's no greater love laid down, so our hope could be found. And from the heavens, Lord, you came to forgive and not to shame. You came to love, not to condemn, but to overcome. And I am overwhelmed, you have overcome. And I am overwhelmed. Lord, I am overwhelmed. Blessing and honor, glory belongs to you. For all you have done, blessing and honor, glory belongs to you. For you have overcome, blessing and honor, glory belongs to you. For all you have done, blessing and honor, glory belongs to you. Well, you have overcome and I am overwhelmed. You have overcome and I am overwhelmed. You've overcome and I am overwhelmed. From the heavens, Lord, you came to forgive and not to shame. You came to love, not to condemn, but to overcome. And I am overwhelmed that you have overcome. And I am overwhelmed.
Thanks for that, guys. It's so good to be together and to reflect on those things. I think it's good for us to remember as a grace-filled community, as a family, that grace is that identifier instead of the distinctives of the past, that we remember that in this space that we let God handle our sin. Right? This is a really good reminder for us, because as we as we move through our walking around, our everyday kind of working life, our parenting life, our marriage life, our dating life, whatever it is we find ourselves in, it's really important for us to remember that as a grace-filled community, we let God handle our sin. We're not the ones that make things better. We're not the ones that add to it. Daniel was so good to remind us last week that the law never brought life. It was this thing that was a mirror that was put up to show us where we were missing it. But Jesus now has come to show us that we are a part of his family and that he can take care of our sin. So we bring our sin to Jesus. And the opportunity for us in that, right, is from that position, is to know that in a grace-filled family, we're in a grace-filled community, that we anticipate and expect imperfection in others and ourselves. Like, just think about that for a minute, right? As a grace-filled community, what would it look like for us to anticipate and expect others to not get it right and to be okay with that? To not judge them, to not berate them, to not expect perfection from them when we're unable to provide perfection ourselves. That Jesus brings the perfection, and he brings us into his family, and he says, you belong. You're welcome. That I'll take care of your sin. I'll walk with you through your brokenness. And this family that now is in this holy hug together, they'll walk with you as well. They'll be with you, and they won't expect you to be perfect, but instead they'll be grace-filled. Man, I know that this last week, or even 2 weeks, I could give you several different examples of when I have not expected or anticipated imperfection in myself or others, but I have in fact done the opposite. And each and every time, grace has been extended to me. And I see that and I think, I've got so far to go. But I also see that I'm a part of a family. I'm a part of a grace-filled community that says, Ryan, I'm with you. And I hope that you know the same. I hope that you know that we want to be that family with you. So I hope that you'll continue on this journey with us. I'm going to head over here to the steaks, and we're going to see how they're going. We're going to put them on the grill here and reverse sear them. But I want you guys to know that I'm so excited about what God's doing in us and through us. That it's a great opportunity, like Daniel said last week, to open our hearts, to open our homes in this time of uncertainty and invite people in to eat with you, to watch the church service with you, to be together, because we are better together. Let's check on these steaks. Oof. Sometimes on Father's Day, it's just a really good idea to have a steak. Oh. Thanks for joining us today on Father's Day. We've had a great day. Some of the kids have been with us doing the hosting, and that's been awesome to have them with us today. I hope the dads know they're loved and valued, and we really look forward to being together again. But until then, enjoy your fathers, enjoy Father's Day, and enjoy being in a grace-filled community. Let us know if you want to host a small gathering. You guys are awesome. We'll see you later. Oh, you guys. We should eat this right now.
Hello, Grandpa.
Hey, Elsa. What you doing?
Fishing.
Catching anything?
Nah, we ran out of bait. Someone took it. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a great day and happy Father's Day.